While the injury attorneys at The Advocates can't actually prevent you from being in a cycling accident, they will be by your side to support you following your accident. Our legal services won't cost you a dime out of pocket, so when you need an injury attorney, call us. We're The Advocates, your Utah personal injury attorneys. You didn't deserve to be in an accident, but you do deserve an advocate.
Should I go ahead and hit this now?
Probably.
Turn it.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, okay.
Stay hard!
Oh, wait, wrong one.
This is The Monty Show,
Thank
the
you.
truth in sports talk streaming. When you want unbiased opinions about your favorite team without the spin, all you have to do is find The Monty Show, streaming live and available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week on YouTube. And now, here's Monty.
Hey, the Monty Show, as always, presented by our good friends at The Advocates, theadvocates.com. The best injury attorneys in the business, and they want your old, used, even broken down bicycle parts every single year. The Advocates do a great job raising money and giving bikes and bike parts that they distribute back into the community to kids and people who are looking for alternative means of transportation. It is a big, big deal, friends. Here in Salt Lake City and the great state of Utah, Idaho, Arizona, wherever the Advocates represent you, you can donate bikes. You can donate bike parts. I have 2 broken down bicycles. Mrs. Monty's got a beautiful brand new Ferrari bicycle that she rides in her little races and stuff. What?
No comment.
You too can donate on Venmo. Advocates donations on Venmo. And don't forget, if you get in an accident, you get hit while you're riding your bike, some idiot on a golf course hits you while they're slicing their driver, theadvocates.com, where you can always chat with an injury attorney live online, and it won't cost you a dime. 24/7, 365 at theadvocates.com. Always a pleasure to be with you. Are you going to apologize to me? Are you going to...
Is this just how we're going to start every show now? Like,
Well, I mean, you did not...
what am I
you did
apologizing for?
For not bowing down to my greatness
What
on
greatness would that be?
the New York Knickerbockers last night.
Uh-huh, right.
Did I not tell you that would be a grinded-out basketball affair?
Mm-hmm.
Was it?
Yes.
Can we just talk about this officiating thing? Because I'm so over this. Miles Turner committed a foul at the top of the key within a foot of the official.
Facts.
It's an illegal screen. Is it a foul? Yes. Was he wrong to call it? No. Did it decide the game? Absolutely not. It did not decide the game. We've got to stop this thing in sports. We're like, wow, at that point in the game, how do you make that call, Monty? You make that call because it's an offensive foul.
He's lined up offsides.
It's an illegal screen. We talked about this in the Iowa-UConn game. It's an illegal screen that night. It was an illegal screen last night. There's nothing to talk about here. I don't understand why, and I think this is emblematic of our society nowadays. We don't want the rules applied to us. We want them applied to everybody else. And yes, did they get a call wrong where they said that the Pacers kicked the ball? Yes, they did. And they admitted that. But there's nothing about that illegal screen that's the wrong call, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think that people want the officials to swallow the whistle at the end of the game. And I think there are certain calls where you can do that. And there are other ones where you can't. And I think when it comes to screens, you can't do that because if you're going to allow Miles Turner to set that type of screen, you might as well just be giving, whoever the ball carrier is on any given play, a wide open look for three. And I don't think that in today's NBA, you can do that. I mean, again, you look at the final score, right? Knicks win by 4. Imagine if they don't blow the whistle, right? Indy puts in a 3 right there. Now we're talking about a 1-point game, maybe a foul here, foul there, and we get a different outcome. And that's why I say, Indiana fans going to be pissed off about this. And I'm just simply sitting here saying like, hey man, like that was clearly an illegal screen. It looked illegal live. It looks even more illegal on replay. And don't really understand why the first thing that came out of the broadcast mouth was, DiVincenzo, was acting, and they got a lot of great actors in New York. And it's like, okay, well, did DiVincenzo flop a little bit? Yeah, a little bit. Did the screen truly knock him down like that? No, but that's not the point. We're not discussing whether the screen should have knocked him down. We're discussing the fact that he's moving a mile while setting a screen. That's what we're talking about. And I just don't understand why it's so difficult to see the rules and apply the rules. Now, you want to talk about officiating, right? There were some officiating issues in the Denver game, for sure. Some block charge, no call stuff.
No whistle overall, when you throw a heat pack on the floor.
Yeah, like overall, I felt like last night for both of these games, the officiating was not bad enough where we're at a point where we need to, spend all day complaining about the officials just trashing this game. That's not why you lost the game.
No, you lost this game because the Knicks guards dominated the Pacers.
Yeah.
You lost this game because, in my opinion, you look at the impact that OG Anunoby had in the second half, and you look at the way that he got critical rebounds. I just think the Knicks, as back and forth as this game was, their comeback and their ability to score the tough bucket is why they won this game. It did not have to do with the officials, in my opinion. If you watch this game, you can't possibly believe that those two calls are why the Knicks won the game.
Yeah.
You can't possibly believe that. And I think Dante DiVincenzo, I talked about it on the show yesterday because pimps are going to pimp, right? And I'm telling you now, as I said yesterday, Dante DiVincenzo might arguably be the most important Knick in this series. And he certainly showed out last night. I think one of the bigger issues is that New York really exposed the Pacers for a lack of half-court defense.
Yeah.
I think when you look at the fact that all 5 Pacer starters were in the negative last night, in plus minus, all 5 of their starters were negative last night. That is a huge statistic, and one that I think it was the entirety of the reason that the Pacers lost the game. Defensively, they're not nearly as good as the Knicks. And I think that's the whole nine.
Yeah, and I think what you're going to see Indiana come out and do in game 2 is try to run a lot more. You're going to see them push the pace a lot more because that's where they thrive as a team offensively. That's where they can go out and make some things happen. And I think, if you're the Knicks, the one thing that would be slightly concerning is that you knew Indiana was going to struggle offensively in the half court, and you still only won the game by 4 points. And
yes.
And to me, I look at that and I say, that's why this series is going to be a long series. That this game here, if this game is played in Indiana last night, I think the Pacers win this ball game. But obviously, that's why home court advantage matters. And so to that end, I think this is at least a 6-game series. I don't think we're going to see a home team lose until at least game 5. And I that's the hard part, is that when you have such contrasting styles, you're going to have the one-off game in the series where, the Knicks have a bad shooting night and put up 105, and Indiana runs away with it because they're just running out in transition.
I think you have to put Andrew Nebhart on the bench, and you have to start TJ McConnell.
Yeah,
if you're the
night
Pacers.
for him.
I look at TJ McConnell, and I still try to understand why he's undersold. And I look at his impact last night, 22 minutes, 18 points, a +9, a rebound, 3 dimes, and 3 steals. The guy defended.
Yeah.
And yet you look at Nebhart, a -13 on 11 points is horrendous. That's horrendous. Like you essentially were a net negative.
Did he have turnovers last night too?
No turnovers last night.
Yeah.
No, I don't think that their problem was not turnovers.
Yeah.
The Indiana Pacers could not get stops in the half court. And it's what the Knicks do. The Knicks are going to grind your ass out.
Yeah.
That's what they do.
Well,
man.
And that Josh Hart rebound late in the game, where he comes off the left wing and just out jumps them to get that and get a second possession. Like that was,
yes.
That's the type of effort that the Knicks are going to put in. And so it's really interesting when, you look at, the Celtics series coming up, like I do, after watching one game of Knicks Pacers, hope we get Celtics Knicks, because that to me would be the pinnacle of a series. But I'm not. I'm going to sit here and tell you guys, I'm not convinced the Knicks have this just in the bag. I think that this is going to be a long series. I think that it's going to be a grinder series. And I'm telling you, if you go back and watch this game, Jalen Brunson and the Knicks can't afford to have a bad shooting night. They have one bad shooting night in this series. That's going to make it tough for them to win this in 6, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think this series is everything we deserve in the Eastern Conference. I mean, I think the winner of this series, and I do believe that it will be the Knicks, but it's going to be a long 6 or 7 game series.
Yeah.
I think the winner of this series has a legitimate shot, because Boston's going to cruise past Cleveland, in my opinion. I think Boston's just deeper.
Yeah, anyway, that series even goes to 5.
You're going to have to get somebody, and I know we talked about this yesterday. I don't mean to be redundant.
Yeah.
But somebody for Cleveland is going to have to step up and have a certain types of game that I don't know that that's possible.
For real.
Right? I mean, it is, on paper, this is a lopsided series. And I think Boston, I don't probably give Boston the respect that they've earned. I mean, that's a good basketball team. I don't think they're a championship caliber team.
Yeah.
I still maintain that there's something off with that Celtic roster and chemistry. And I don't think they have a killer. I don't think they have a dog. I don't think they have a number one. They're better than Cleveland.
Yeah.
I think your biggest issue for Boston is if you run into the Knicks, I think the Knicks are going to the NBA Finals.
Yeah, well, I think the Knicks are definitely a grittier team, a tougher team. No doubt about it.
They can grind you out. Mitchell Robinson and Hartenstein, I think you look at the way those two play. I think you look at the guards, those 3 guards. Again, I think Josh Hart and Dante DiVincenzo, we all know about Rick Brunson's kid, right? Like, I think there's no doubt.
Yeah.
Those 3 are very difficult to deal with. And I don't know how you handle those 3. That the team that's uniquely built to give the Knicks problem is the Timberwolves.
Yeah.
And I think we're going to talk about the Timberwolves in a minute. But other than that, I don't see, I think OKC is a very interesting matchup, because I think they have far more size. In a very rare statement, I think OKC has a really good profile size-wise to match up with the Knicks.
Yeah.
But I think the Knicks have a legitimate chance, if they stay healthy and they get out of this series. They have a legitimate chance to win the East.
Yeah. No, I agree. Yeah.
Then I don't know what you say about Denver. Jesus, did you see what Minnesota did to Denver last night? I don't know. I don't know how you don't say the Timberwolves right now are not the odds-on favorite to win the trophy.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're playing the best basketball out of anybody. I think that's number one. I think the tough part with Minnesota is they are that team, and there's one team every single year that plays the underdog mentality and has a coming out party, and that is exactly what is happening for this Timberwolves team right now. And I love yesterday, we do the show, and then we go and about our day. I love how yesterday it's trending on X that, Michael Jordan did an interview where,
saw that.
he's talking about how in the 2001 season, he probably fathered kids because he was sleeping with 3 women every single night. And now everyone's like, yeah, Ant's the second coming of MJ. And I have to say, they look very similar, but Anthony Edwards it's his coming out party. He is absolutely dominating, and there's nothing you're going to do about it.
We need to talk about this Jamal Murray thing, because I believe he should be suspended. He threw, if you did not see it somehow, Jamal Murray in frustration in I think it was the late second quarter, had a heat pack and he threw it into the paint while Minnesota was on offense. So Minnesota was playing offense in front of the Nuggets bench. Jamal Murray was frustrated and threw a heat pack onto the floor during play.
Yeah.
And it's dangerous. Like, it was at their feet. Nothing was called. I'm sure he will be fined. I think he should have been ejected from that game. And because you step on one of those or land on one of those things, you're gonna hurt a knee. You're gonna do a knee.
Yeah.
There's just no way around it. And it's just a childish move. And this is who Jamal Murray was before he turned into the tough SOB that we all know him now.
Yeah.
He was a child. He was this guy. And now you're getting your ass handed to you at home and you throw a heat pack onto the floor. He should have been ejected, and I think he should be suspended.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking about what, 4 inches from Cat's foot as he's going up for a layup, like incredibly close. And the other thing that I feel like no one's saying is, what if he did one of his own teammates? What if one of his own teammates ended their season due to injury because you decided to throw a heat pad on the floor? Like, you're silly. You're a child. You're immature. You're a sore loser. And I think it's funny that Jamal is this guy who's been the consummate underdog, right? No all-star appearances, doesn't get the love he deserves, like overachiever. And I agree with all that. This guy's an all-star caliber player who doesn't get the credit he deserves. I agree with that. However, you can't be sitting here doing this type of thing.
No, you cannot.
I'm cool if you want to be bitching at people, if you want to be, yelling at people from the bench, like if vocally you want to take your frustration out on people, okay, fine, dude, that's part of sports. We see it night in and night out in a myriad of different situations in different sports. See it all the time. No problem with that. But the minute you start throwing things on the field of play or on the court, it just takes it to another level that it doesn't need to be. And it makes it so that a team that I'm already rooting against, a team that I'm not a huge fan of, it makes me feel like, yeah, this is part of the reason why I'm not a huge fan of you, Jamal Murray, because you're able to beat a Laker team that clearly can't stay with you. But now that you're playing guys that are younger than you and faster than you and longer than you and just as good as you, you're not doing anything. And that's the problem I have with this. He didn't do this when they were trying to sweep the Lakers.
That's right.
Right? You were busy talking junk to LeBron. But as soon as you're getting your ass kicked at home, you think it's okay to do this kind of thing. And by the way, he's one of the leaders of that team. So again, this is not just a Jamal Murray issue. This is a Denver Nuggets culture issue.
Certainly.
The idea that he thinks this is okay is insane to me.
And you knew, like when you threw that onto the floor.
Yeah.
Did you think a camera wasn't going to see you do that?
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm saying.
Which is wild to me.
Dude, you're just at a point where you're like, yeah, I don't really give a damn.
Yeah, like, fuck it, I'm just going to throw this thing onto the floor.
Like, towel.
Are you serious?
Like, we might as well go Lou Piniella and start throwing chairs onto the court, dude. Like, what are you doing, Jamal? Like, what are you doing? Maybe, I don't know, maybe be better. Maybe execute better. Maybe do something for your team. Because I watched a game last night where
wild
and take the score out of it. I'm talking about in the first quarter, this domination began right out of the gate, dude. Right out of the gate, like 3 minutes into the game, they're already dogging the Nuggets on defense. They're already just suffocating the Nuggets on defense. And what did we say last night? Hey, is this T-Wolves team better with Rudy off the floor? Because the performance I saw last night has a real strong case that they're better defensively against the Nuggets without Rudy. And that's a crazy thing to say.
I think Rudy Gobert does not get the credit he deserves for changing. Because I thought it was very interesting if he didn't play last night because he fathered a child out of wedlock. Well,
do we have any problem with this, by the way? So Scotty Scheffler's not playing this week because he's having a kid.
Don't. Why?
Which
Why are you
wants to compare to Rudy? And I'm sitting here saying the circumstances around Scotty are totally different. Buddy over here, Rudy, has never won anything in his life outside of Defensive Player of the Year awards and is copping out on the postseason for his kid. So
why?
So
why are we doing this? Why would you?
I don't appreciate the fact that Rudy did not just come out and say, yeah, I'm having a kid. Like this has been talked about. I have to miss this game.
Rudy and his girlfriend allegedly
Anita Dick and Ming
had some relations. I agree. You need to, hey, guy, check the calendar. Okay. If it's the summertime, you got to wrap that thing up.
Oh my God, just like that. Oh.
Right. But if your girl is about to, ejectocito with the baby,
that motherfucker don't
apparently
miss,
not. If she's going to give birth, you have to be there. And I have no problem with Rudy Gobert missing the NBA Finals if it's required, or Scottie Scheffler missing the Masters. He's not playing the Wells Fargo this week.
In golf, and this is the conversation. This is different in golf than it is in the NBA. Golf's an individual sport. Scottie Scheffler is not impacting anybody but himself and his caddy, who, by the way, his caddy's made more than other guys on the tour already this year. So the idea that people want to compare Scottie's miss with Rudy's miss is insane to me, because Rudy missing, and now you can look back and have 20/20 vision and say, I told you so, because they beat the living crap out of the
And
Nuggets
they do.
last night.
I think everybody agrees they match up better without Rudy on the floor.
Yeah.
Which I totally agree that they're better defensively in this particular series.
But why did it need to be a thing where it's like, hey, Rudy's missing the game for personal reasons, thoughts and prayers, everybody?
It wasn't like that.
Well, that's what I saw. That's what I saw.
It's just sports.
Mm-hmm.
Who cares?
Mm-hmm.
He's having a child who I hope learns offensive skills, who I suspect came out of the womb a better ball handler than Rudy is right now. But it's the birth of your child. Who cares about the game? Who cares? It's far more important to be there for your kid.
I still maintain it matters how you handle it.
Oh my God.
He should be there. I agree. But it matters how you handle it, man. When you're playing a team sport, it matters. It absolutely matters. What am I
supposed to do
dude,
with that?
You tell me they're just going to throw him right back in the starting lineup like he threw it in his girlfriend? Come on, dude. Come on. Be better.
Do we have to make penis jokes every day?
Yes.
Yes, they're going to just throw the hot dog down the hallway, meaning Rudy Gobert is back in the starting lineup. Stop it. This is nonsensical. There's nothing to talk about. Quite literally, there is nothing to talk about.
Yeah.
With this, why couldn't I have had a not millennial? Like, what is wrong with your generation?
What do you mean?
You guys don't want kids. Then when people have kids, you're like, well, what an asshole for having a kid. Can you believe this guy's having a kid?
Again, context, right?
What's wrong? Couldn't get it snipped before the playoffs started?
Like, there's nobody agrees that this guy's got to think about, hey, when are you, like, you can't schedule this at least? You can't try to have the baby in the offseason?
Mike Smith, Mountain Mama. Playing a team sport should matter when J2H is taking Fridays off for booty calls. So it's okay with you to leave the team high and dry so that you can go, practice your slam dunking skills.
Yes.
But Rudy Gobert, oh man. Yeah, this guy.
What are we doing?
Yeah. Thank you, Dakota. Millennials are the worst.
Right. Yeah.
No, wrong one. OG Gary, Jake is mad Rudy messed up his prize picks.
Shut the fuck up, Donnie.
Dude, prize picks was a bloodbath last night.
Gary, why do you have to touch on sore subjects? Like, it was not even close. I shouldn't even recap it.
Yeah, don't pull it out. We don't need that. Thanks.
Stop.
What?
Stop it.
What's the problem, dude?
Okay, that's enough. Stop, please.
When did you become so penilely upset? Well, don't pull it out, bro. Like, when did...
Can you do something?
Can we? No, you can't. Can we just talk basketball, please?
That's what I'm trying to do.
Yeah, I'm just trying to keep it in the hole here.
Yeah.
Macaque.
Anthony Edwards last night, 39 points, rebounds, and assists. I took more. Of course, he went 38. OG Anunoby, 23 points and rebounds. I took more. He went 22. Jalen Brunson, you flipping midget. I needed 4 3-pointers. Of course, he went 1 for 9.
Brick.
I believe. Jerk off. It's fine. I don't need nice things in my life.
Seriously. And I took a flyer last night on so Prize Picks will do these things where one of their people.
I warned you. Did I not warn you about this?
You know what? I just wanted to, try something and just see. And I knew I was going to lose, but that's not the point. The point is what if I would have won?
It's how you lose the game.
Yeah, there was an opportunity. Not even close.
Yeah.
Come on.
All right. Real quick before we get to more of your comments here. Is the foul? Obviously, they missed the kickball foul. Right. That was a significant call.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think the illegal screen was the wrong call, and I don't care when they made it. A foul is a foul.
Yeah.
Was it wrong to call that foul in that moment?
I mean, I don't know. I don't think so, because it's true. If they commit a foul, you should blow the whistle. But that part of the conversation does have some legs based on the physicality in that game. I mean, you're not talking about, a soft game here that was played. I mean, these guys were battling the whole night. Like, it was very physical. Multiple times guys fell on the floor fighting for the ball. I think it was Turner and might have been DiVincenzo, were battling for a rebound and the ball took a hop and they fell on the free throw line together.
Yep.
I mean, there were multiple times where these guys were essentially wrestling. And so to call that there, I think people are more upset that
some of this it's Knicks Pacers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right. Charles Oakley, Reggie Miller,
Mm-hmm.
Rick Smits.
Yeah.
That's what this is the Eastern Conference.
But I think it's hard to have the balancing act of, hey, it's Knicks Pacers, which I agree with. It is Knicks Pacers. It's going to be a physical series, and you got to know that going in. But how do you balance that with, hey, how far are we going to let the bigs move on the screen? Because like with Rudy, he's notorious for it. It's not a question of if he's moving. He is moving. It's only a question of how much they're going to call it.
It's not a question. It's an illegal screen.
Yeah, right. That's not even what we're talking about.
While we're talking about Rudy Gobert,
yeah,
is there anybody who sets more illegal screens than Rudy Gobert? Well, apparently there is, because they rarely call it, and he is one of the most prolific screen-setting guys in the NBA.
Yeah.
But it seems like it has become more of a priority to make that call. I wish they called it all the time. I do, because when you make the right call, it shouldn't be controversial.
Right.
And this is controversial because I think, as I always say, it's not the fouls you call, it's the ones you do not. Like watching hockey last night. Again, Boston dominating. And they got the benefit of like 57 no calls. And all I'm saying is officials are rarely they're rarely the heel or the villain because of the calls they make. It's the ones they don't.
But like in the NHL, I feel like it's easier to officiate that game than it is the NBA, because in the NHL, the physicality is obviously a key component of the game. Like, hitting and slashing, and like there's no question that acts will be committed that could be called penalties. That's not the point. The point is, how are you going to control the flow of the game by the calls you do and don't make? And
you're on the side of the most people agree with you. Almost nobody agrees with me. I think it was a foul. I think you blow the whistle because it's a foul. I don't care how much time is on the clock or what the situation is. A foul is a foul. I do think that you're exactly right when you say, and I know everybody else is saying it too, the officials control the flow and the momentum of the game.
Mm-hmm.
And they stop rushes and they stop runs by making calls or not making calls.
Yeah.
And I totally agree with that. I just don't think this is that controversial.
But I don't think that I think it would have been less controversial if we were talking about like a transition foul or a hard foul at the rim or something like that. I think people get upset about these screen calls specifically because on that specific play, it's not like it was, LeBron going downhill coming off the screen. I mean, basically the screen was set, and I can't remember who had the ball. Was it Halliburton? It might have been who basically you just went around the screen and you were chilling at the top of the key, and then they blew the whistle. And I think when people watch that, they get upset about that, but that doesn't change the fact that it's an illegal screen, whether again, whether it's the fourth and clutch time or it's the first 10 minutes,
Right.
like it's still a foul. But I think what people are bitching about constantly is where we're at in the game. And so when you're an official in the NBA, you're never going to make everybody happy. If you don't blow the whistle there, the Knicks are going to be upset, right? If you do blow the whistle there, Pacer Nation and the Pacers are going to be upset.
Pacer Nation.
Because, and I do agree with the people. DiVincenzo sold that a bit. It's an illegal screen. I don't believe that screen was set in a fashion where it was going to knock him over
Just
the way he
call
fell
it
over.
consistently.
Yeah, right?
Call
like,
it consistently.
Just give us, it's like strike zones in Major League Baseball. I don't give a damn if you're calling a strike where the ball is off the plate. If you're going to call that both sides the whole game, then I know, okay, I got to cover that. But if you're going to call it for one side, not the other, and it's going to be inconsistent, that's when we run into problems. And that's why I think that like in the Nuggets game, you've got Karl Anthony Towns beating the absolute crap out of Jamal Murray on the block. And Jamal does a great job of holding his position. And Cat goes right through him, and what is a textbook charge, in my opinion, and they don't blow the whistle. And the reason they didn't blow the whistle is because it's Karl Anthony Towns, who's 7 whatever and 250 probably, against a small guard. So when the small guard falls over, no one's going to give you that call. You're not getting the benefit of the doubt on that, but it's a textbook charge.
Yeah, and to put a bow on this Knicks Pacers series, I think that in Indiana, the Pacers are a better team. At the Garden, I think the Knicks are a better team. And I think the thing that should worry you as a Knicks fan is Rick Carlisle is a master of adjustments.
Mm-hmm.
And I guarantee you, Dante DiVincenzo is not going to have that much space again because he's absolutely crushing you. And I think when you look at the coaches in this series, I would favor Rick Carlisle to make better adjustments here. And I think game 2 is critical. I think game 2 could very much, if the Pacers find a win to win game 2, and as close and as I'll even say as in control as the Pacers were for stretches in game 1, there's no reason to believe that this is going to be a 2-0 Knick win. I think this could very much be 1-1 headed back to Indiana.
Yeah.
And if that's the case, you're going to have a hell of a fight when they get back to Indianapolis.
Yeah, I mean, if you lose game 2, this is a 7-game series, and I don't see any other way around it.
All right, let's get your thoughts in here on the Monty Show. The comment section always brought to you by Prize Picks, prizepicks.com. Suffer in silence, such as in like myself last night. The bottom line is I win far more money in Prize Picks than I ever lose. Again, I was on a 3-game heater on Prize Picks until the Knicks absolutely shredded my hopes and dreams last night on Prize Picks, but it's one of the things I love about it. I get another shot tonight because it's daily fantasy. It's every single day. I've got the Wells Fargo this weekend that I cannot wait to play Prize Picks with. I have, in my opinion, one of the most entertaining things to do during the NBA playoffs is play the series Prize Picks, where you and I have a fantasy role going with Prize Picks on the series. And we'll see how it all plays out. Jalen Brunson to score less than 147 points, which I was convinced to go less than. I wish I'd gone more than, but now I go less because he's got 40 points in game 1. Thanks for that, Jake. I've got Luka Doncic to make 16 3-pointers. I went more. And I've got Chet Holmgren, 64 points. I went more. Feel pretty good about that. Winning 2 or 3 because somebody screwed me.
We will be fine.
Oh, we?
Jalen. Yeah, because I have that one too.
Okay.
I have the series. We'll be fine because, again, it's games. So on Prize Picks, you don't do the whole series. It's games 1 through 4. So he'd have to have, 30, 40 a night through every game.
It's the playoffs.
To
He's Rick Brunson's kid.
Yeah. He's gonna have a 25-point night at some point. And
just a 25-point.
Well, but my point is if he does that, we're good.
What do you want to bet? This will come down to like 3.2 seconds left. Rick Brunson's kid will be on the line to absolutely pipe me. Absolutely
Hugh Janus.
Pipe me on Prize Picks. What do you want to bet?
Yeah, probably will, man.
Yeah, All right, let's go. Who's in the comments section? Big Blue Horses, a member of the show for 6 months. Let's go. The star call or star no call is the worst part of the NBA. Stars get calls. There's no doubt about us. Force Ghost Fabio, tell us how much you're down. I'm actually not down at all. I am up.
Yeah, aren't you almost at like $500?
Yeah, and I've won $1,884.
Yeah.
So I'm not down at all, bro.
Do you know what that's like these days?
That's what I love about Prize Picks.
Yeah.
I think Prize Picks is the easiest way to make money in fantasy. I don't view it as betting or wagering, or it's daily fantasy. I love it. I absolutely love it. So no, I'm not down at all. Andy Blackwell, good morning. Hello. What's going on with Lorner going to Utah? Did anybody see that story? That you have a guy that's a basketball player at BYU and I believe Baylor. And Caleb Lorner transferred to Utah to play tight end for the football team. 6'8", 235. Not a football player until now. He's a football player. And he says he's also willing to contribute for the basketball team. Like, what are we doing? What is Caleb Lorner do? What does he know that Kalani don't know?
I don't know, bro.
You're going to play football?
Apparently.
69 games for Baylor, averaged 3.2 points a game.
Oh, man. Wow.
Received a release from his letter of intent for BYU. Started 44 games for BYU. 7 points a game, 6.4 rebounds. We'll see. We'll see what he does on the football field. It'll be interesting. Ooh, Kay Sumbry, look at you.
Wow.
Hello, Kay Sumbry. Hey, guys. All is well. Go Pokes. Oak State and Utah in the Big 12 championship game this year. Think you got a shot. Got to get the lice out of the mullet. Is Mike Gundy engaged enough to win a Big 12 championship?
Yeah.
Very interesting.
Yeah, I mean, it's the first year he's got an actual chance, so I would assume he is.
San Diego State Glenn. I am not a wager maker, so I mentally check out during the Prize Pick segment. Still physically here, though. Okay. Okay, what's up, Steve Stepanek? Good to see you. Oak State James.
Okay.
Did you see it? F1 in Miami, James? What did you say? A beer was $55. You said a beer.
A beer. A 16-ouncer was $55.
Look at their food prices. Maine lobster rolls, $280.
How?
A F1 platter of sliders, secret sauce, ribeye quesadillas, chicken tendies with honey mustard, $290. Oh, wait, my bad. Drink menu. A 16-ounce Miller Lite, $55.
How? Help me.
For 5. So you're charging $11 for a bucket. You're charging $125 for champagne. You're charging $190 for Chardonnay.
Why don't you fuck off?
Sauvignon Blanc, $200. Are you kidding me right now?
What are we doing?
Now, I know as the resident degenerate Buc-ee's sandwich eater,
Yeah.
I know James knows concession stands. Who's paying those prices?
I'm not.
And I said this about F1 in Las Vegas. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. It's not worth it in Miami. It's not worth it in Vegas. I don't even know that it's worth it in Austin.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't think it's worth the price you're paying.
Yeah, I'm not. And that's just while you're there. I mean, imagine, the tickets are thousands of dollars, and it is a celebrity event. That's all it is, man. The richest of the rich go there, and
they don't want the garden variety 19-year-old race fan who wants to pay $6 for a beer.
Yeah.
Which I still think is outrageous. They don't want that. They want the elites. They want the millionaires buying suites. And I think that's what this is. Kay Sumbry never had a $50 Miller Lite.
Yeah, you see what I'm saying? Like, How egregious is that?
Could it at least be Modelo? Could we at least, if it's $50, can we at least get
Holy
Modelo?
cow.
Are you kidding me? Caleb says that's awful. Yes, it is. Mike Smith, if the people buy it, they will keep the price there. If they do not, they will not lower those. They will lower those prices. Totally agree. Totally agree. Is what it is. Shooter, Texas. Lorner was pretty good off the bench. There was a number of games where he came in and gave the team a needed boost. Gonna miss him, but college football, that's what I'm saying.
Hey, man.
That's what I'm saying. Yes, Mike Smith, just be consistent with the screen call.
Yeah.
100%.
Like it's not that difficult. And that's what I'm saying. The narrative of, hey, it's Knicks Pacers, it's going to be physical, isn't in alignment with the way you called that screen. It's not an issue of if it was illegal. It was illegal, right? Because it's illegal.
Right.
But
because it's illegal.
But you
because it's illegal.
It's not about that. It's about, hey, like we're playing basically a brawling pickup game here, and you're allowing that to make you blow the whistle. That's the tough part.
Oak State James. Ooh, an NBA take.
Well,
Let me sit up and
yeah. Do you need to unzip the hoodie a little bit for this one? Like, do you need to get Do
Give
we
myself
need
some-
music for this too, or
Anthony Edwards and Rick Brunson's kid are the future of the NBA. They look phenomenal. I wouldn't be surprised if their teams met in the finals.
not a bad take?
Not a bad take. Shockingly, not a bad take. Connert, you changed your names. Just says Knicks. Okay.
Okay, cool, man.
Dakota
Cool.
Tubbs says you're obsessed with seminal fluid.
Okay.
Is it wrong? They're not wrong, are they? Andy Blackwell, have you had the birds and the bees talk with Jake, Monty? Now listen, Jakey.
Monty?
When a man and a woman are in love, they go to the church and they get married. And then he takes his member,
His cock.
and he puts it in her warm, moist cave.
The cock.
And he plants the seed of life, son.
Macaque.
There you go. That's a bird and bees. Oak State James. Jake, if you're going to play in the rain, you have to wear a raincoat. No, James.
No, that didn't work there, dude.
James, please don't
Dude,
ever.
Dude, if you're gonna reference a Denzel quote,
No.
like
Don't
be better.
James, don't ever talk about sex on this show again. Please. Please. That's
go back to rating your glizzies, okay?
First of all, I believe you're married to a Baylor fan. Sex
Which,
is out of the question.
Yeah, I don't know how that's possible, dude.
Sex is out of the question.
Right.
Number two, no. Don't ever do it again. Don't ever do it again. UW fan Jim Romadunze. Is that $55 for 5 beers or $55 each? It's a bucket. It's a bucket of Miller Lite, but they're not even tall boys.
Wow, dude. Wow.
They're not even tall boys. And the funny thing is, Heineken's are $60 a bucket and Miller Lite's 55. High Noons are $60. Water's $25. Wood rice. Do you guys understand what I'm talking about here? Like these, no. Screw F1. As soon as Horseface is no longer racing, I'll be an F1 fan again. Until then, no. No. Shooter, Texas. Monty, you forgot to tell Jakey about the temple ceremony, you closet Mormon. Listen, if you want to get to the 37th layer of heaven, you have to get tax dollars from Utah residents.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did.
The Ryan Smith.
See what he did there. It all kind of works together.
Lopes fan Gabe would rather travel to something like the Dutch Grand Prix than CF1 stateside. Probably cheaper too.
Yeah.
That's right, Lopes fan Gabe. I don't see the value in it. I see the value in, like, I'm happy to pay extra money to go to an NBA game. I can see the dudes. I'm close to the court. Great. But if you're paying $55 for beer, what else are you paying that kind of exorbitant cost for? And I go back to Las Vegas, and we had a group of people, in our family and whatnot, that wanted to go and get a suite at the F1 race in Las Vegas.
Right.
I was never part of that. Never, because you were always overpaying. You're always overpaying. You'll never see me. The price would have to come down significantly. And never mind the destruction that F1 Las Vegas was.
Yeah.
I would rather, as I have previously, go back to London and go see a Chelsea football match. Like, I'm happy to pay the airfare, the hotel, all of it.
Mm-hmm.
All of it. Rather than just drive 4 hours to Las Vegas or 5 hours to Las Vegas to see F1. Not doing it.
Yeah.
Not doing it. Mike Smith. James has raincoats in stadiums around the country.
Yeah, that's not the saying, dude. See, we need to talk about this. That's not what can you do? Are you able to see that his rain comment, the earlier one by chance?
Oak State Chain?
Yeah, where he's like,
if you're going to play in the rain, you have to wear a raincoat.
Dude,
James,
that's just not the saying, bro.
I don't care.
Bro, the saying is...
It's James. I don't want to talk... You and James, I understand you guys are in love. I don't want to talk about sex with James. I'm not here for it. I am not here for it.
Well, Monty, the hot dogs are something different.
Can I just ask, what is Oak State, James? What does your sweat smell like? As much as you eat at Buc-ee's, I'm not here for it.
Whoa.
Okay, that's enough. Stop, please. Please.
It's a little awkward now. Let's see. Dakota Tubbs. I want to travel to the Canadian GP, historic track, French flair, and not nearly as expensive as stateside races.
Yeah, the Canadian track is awesome. Yeah.
No, it's not. Chris C. Formula One is a rich man's sport. It's a show for rich people. A la the Kentucky Derby. All right, here's your $97 mint julep. Not many poor people make it into Formula One driver academy. Well, Lewis Hamilton was not rich. Andy was black. So the odds were stacked against him from birth. That's not a bad investment, paying that much for concessions. That's a bad investment. Yes, it is. I totally agree. I agree. Stepanik says, Monty, give him a book, Birds and Bees for Dummies. Exactly right. Exactly right. Brady Cook, I'd rather watch the Masters. Okay, are we going to do this now?
Yes.
All right. What event are you willing to pay big dollars to go and see?
The Masters, certainly. Certainly.
Which ones are out for me? For me, the Super Bowl's out. Now, I've been there. I've been there for free. Never going again. The NCAA tournament, been there, done that. You can't see it. The seats are always terrible.
World Series.
The vibe inside of a World Series stadium, if you haven't been, you need to go. You have to be a baseball fan. I would probably give one of your nuts to go and see the Cubs.
One of my nuts.
To be in the stadium when the Cubs win a World Series. Yeah, and you could pick left or right, but one of them's going.
Dude, I'm not doing that.
What?
I'm not sacrificing one of my testicles so you can watch the Cubs be in the World Series.
Oh, okay. Ooh.
Shut the fuck up, Donnie.
I don't. There's not. I'll be honest. As somebody that's worked in sports for a long time, I've seen a lot of great events. I've been to multiple World Series. I've seen multiple World Series won in person. I think I would love to be at a Champions League final for Chelsea.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's never going to happen again.
But I will say soccer matches in Europe are different, man. They are intense.
I think the NBA Finals is one of the most enjoyable events I've ever been to. See, I was spoiled. Seeing it with the Lakers, the Kobe and Shaq NBA Finals were amazing. It was amazing. But I will also say that NBA playoffs in person, and I've seen a ton of those as well, dude, as enjoyable of a thing as I've ever seen. I don't know. I think it's NBA, Cubs World Series. The Super Bowl is more enjoyable on a TV with your boys than it is in person. The problem, again, like, I think probably the Masters, but there's so many people at the Masters.
Well, and the other thing is it's a physical day as a fan. You're walking constantly, unless you're just chilling at a hole.
I think going to golf tournaments can be enjoyable. It depends on the when and the where. Springtime in Augusta is beautiful. I have no desire. I'll never go to the Phoenix Open again. Waste of time.
Yeah.
I've been there. I've done that. I think the Masters is a once-in-a-lifetime thing. I think for sure.
Yeah, I would agree.
But you want the Champions League, the World Cup, NBA Finals.
The Stanley Cup final would be good too. Hockey's great in person.
Hockey is great in person. Take my money. Any major, huge football game, you're better off watching it on TV.
Yeah.
That's just me, though. Caleb, my dad used to drink a ton of diet soda a day, and any clothes he sweated in would be bleached basically along with the smell.
Nar.
Yeah. Shooter, Texas. Not everyone should have kids. It takes big balls to have a big family.
Is it possible that they could ride the D?
Literally. Just knocking someone up is not the same as being a father. I would agree with that. Chris E., not front seat or baseball game in the evening. I hate sitting in the hot football stadium. There's nothing worse than Arizona State football in September.
Yep.
It's terrible. Absolutely terrible. For me anyway. Matt Ritson, hello. Stanford baseball, $15 Modelo, 1 can of beer. Nah, I'm good.
How?
I'm good. Brandon Boutler. This kind of advice is going to end up with someone getting knocked up on a couch, or a chair and a half.
Well, if you ask OG Gary, he's got a zero gravity recliner, so he's the expert.
Ride the D.
Yeah.
UW fan Jim Roma Dune say, I would love to do the whole All-Star weekend. All-Star weekend's fun. The problem is you can't see anything for All-Star Saturday night. It's the reality of it. I know. We need to get back to, hey, it's the Super Bowl. Let's have a gigantic Super Bowl party and hang out with all your boys watching the game.
Smokers on.
Hey,
it
is the Bears and Packers Sunday Night Football. Hit the smoker. Let's do this thing.
Yeah.
To me, that's what I miss. I think the pandemic took that from us as sports fans.
Mm-hmm.
I think the pandemic took the enjoyable group outings in sports. I have never been a go to a sports bar and watch a game guy. I am much more, once I got a smoker, wings on the smoker, and now that I have a $8 million patio set, can I just tell you what a rip-off patio furniture is? Now that I have an $8 million patio furniture set, I am all about, I'm all about getting a TV outside and hanging out at night, watching a ball game out back on my $8 million patio set and wings off the Traeger.
Yeah.
Making putts like in my backyard, hitting some golf balls, watching a little ball game. Absolutely. I would do that.
Yeah.
I would absolutely do that. Would love to do that. Love to do that. And I'm working on my backyard. We're going to move our smoker. If I could mount a TV where my smoker is right now in a weatherproof chest, I would do
Where
that.
are you moving the smoker, bro?
It's none of your business.
Damn.
Anyway. I think those group gatherings, that's what I miss, in my opinion. Dakota Tubbs Putin, trying to catch a Bayern game. That's disgusting.
Why is it so on brand that you'd be a Bayern fan?
Completely on brand.
Like, come on, dude.
When I'm in Europe in September, we'll agree, Monty. World Series baseball is a heck of an experience. Saw the Royals lose Game 7 in 2014. So cool until we lost. Yeah, well, you can't have nice things in the Missouri side. It's going to be in Kansas now, which won't happen either. The Royals should contract. My dad used to drink a ton of diet soda. I read that one. My cousin played for the New York Yankees back in the 40s. Then is he really your cousin? How many times removed? That would be cool, by the way. Mike Smith, maybe a UFC main event.
Well, man.
But again,
can't see anything.
You can't see anything. And I think people don't take this into account. You look at some of the stadiums, State Farm Stadium, host of the NCAA Final Four. If you have the money to sit lower bowl, you're still not going to have a great seat.
Yeah.
If you have the money to sit in the courtside area, where the football field would be, you have a good seat.
Yeah.
When they put these huge events like the UFC main event in a major stadium, you have got to be on the floor. Because if you are not on the floor, you cannot see what's happening in the ring. You are quite literally looking at the Jumbotron. So you're watching TV and you paid an F load of money.
Yeah.
If you're going to go, take my word for this. If you're going to go to a major college sporting event, pay the money, buy good tickets. Because if you're going to Notre Dame USC,
yeah.
If you're going to the biggest college, if you're going to the Iron Bowl, if you're going to Bama, Georgia, if you're going to the cocktail party,
yeah.
If you're going to the Holy War, pay the money and sit in a good seat. It's totally worth. If you're going to Bedlam, oh wait, they don't play Bedlam anymore because Mike Gundy's a Jag. If you're going to Texas and A&M, if you're going to if you're going to Tuscaloosa to see anything, pay money to buy a good seat.
Yeah.
If you're going to the Shoe to watch Ohio State football, pay good money, buy a good seat. Because those seats at the top of that stadium, not great. I've been to the Horseshoe for a big game. Been to the Coliseum, SCU, Ohio State. You got to have a good seat.
Yep.
Trust me.
Yep.
Brandon Butler, World Cup final. Absolutely. Absolutely. Andy Blackwell, I want to see the Cougs win the national championship. You mean the Houston Cougars of college basketball?
Yeah.
I think that would be. George Hare, hello. Stanley Cup Game 7 would be amazing. Stanley Cup Final, Lopes fan Gabe says, because there is nothing like playoff hockey, and I'm not even a hockey fan.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mrs. Monty and I watching the Leafs choke their asses off in Boston the other night.
100%.
Same thing. Eric and Raleigh, lack of ball handling is how Gobert got himself into the situation in the first place. I don't disagree with that. Got to handle your balls, Rudy. Was not a basketball reference.
Right.
OG Gary, I'll send a video of my couch in the group chat when I'm home. I love that thing. Okay. San Diego State Glenn, F1 equals FU money.
Seriously.
Yes, it does. Caleb, it's $12 for a tall iron monk at Boone Pickens.
Okay.
Monty, you missed the Bears being good, period. I do. And I love in the group chat the other day, people are like, well, now that the Bears are going to be good, oh, you take that for granted. I'm 51 years old. I've never seen the Bears as an adult be good. We weren't beating the Colts. When the greatest kick returner in the history of the NFL
Facts.
took that kick back, we weren't beating the Colts. Because they had, a fucking quarterback. Should try it sometime.
Quarterback and what? Reggie Wayne?
It's pretty cool when you're a football team and
Careful now.
you have a quarterback.
Whoa,
I know.
Whoa.
Cincinnati fan, Joe Burrow.
Whoa.
Dude.
Dude.
Throwing at practice.
Lee Burrow.
After that wrist surgery. Joe Burrow throwing at practice yesterday. It's my quarterback.
Arrowhead my ass!
It's my quarterback. Stepanek, it's Wicker. Is it Wicker? Wicker Man? Okay. $8 million patio set for watching the snow come down? Bro.
Dude, you're not even playing with that, though.
Why are you choosing violence today,
Gabe?
So Saturday, I played golf in 75-degree heat, where I was like actually contemplating taking my clothes off because it was hot. Sunday, we got 3.5, 4 inches in Salt Lake City. The mountains got, I think, wasn't it?
Yes. 24 inches at Alta, 16 at Snowbird, dumping 10 inches in Park City
On May 5th.
Yeah.
And can I just throw this out there? Like Jake hasn't thrown it in anyone. Screw you. May the 4th be with you.
No, Monty, May the 4th.
No, actually it's not.
I am your father.
May the 4th be with you, man.
I just continue to tell you, Star Trek is overrated. There you go. All right. Chad Carter.
Why are you pissing people off, man?
Good morning, non-Caps Lock lovers. Let's go Cavs. Can the Cavs win a game in the Boston series? Brad, lacrosse update. Utah made the tourney peak before they're out. I did see that. I follow Mark Harlan on Twitter, and he was celebrating their awesomeness. You know. Where Dem likes at. We are at almost, come on. Yeah, I agree. 700 views and 33 likes. You guys hit the like button. Andy Blackwell, you're essentially there for the atmosphere of the event, not to watch it.
Agreed. Which
I won't do. Stepanik's second cousin, Monty, in the Amana call. Okay. Second cousin. That's cool. Mike Smith, well, screw it. How about a curling championship? Surely there will be plenty of good seats for cheap. Would you pay to go to the Olympics? Dude, if you put me in Paris in July, I think it would be a tough pass. If you want to send me to the hockey finals, the gold medal match in hockey,
that's fair.
I think I'd have a tough time saying no. You want to send me to slope style in the Olympics, I'd have a tough time saying no.
Yeah.
Mike Smith, how about the Tanner Invitational Soaker competition? Presented by Pornhub. Yesterday, Jake was trying to find themes for porn music. And he's like, oh, hey, bro, look, it's the Pornhub theme.
It wasn't the Pornhub theme. I didn't even know there was a theme.
I didn't know Pornhub had a theme. Does Pornhub, and I'm just asking, what does a pornography site need a theme song for?
I have no idea. I don't know.
How does that work?
I don't know.
Steve Stepanik, my second cousin in the Amana colonies. You're losing me. Lots of inbreeding back in those days.
Bro,
big family.
What are you talking about, man?
Okay.
Look at me.
Okay. Bobby Fowler, I want to be front row when Iowa actually scores a touchdown. Well, that won't happen in your lifetime. I think that's when aren't they scoring a touchdown, or at least they're projected? Mel Kiper has Iowa scoring a touchdown when the continents all come together and we have one.
That's interesting.
And the Atlantic Ocean is a small lake in the middle of the continent. Isn't that what?
It's the fucking vernal equinox.
I believe Field Yates and Mel Kiper have projected Iowa to score a touchdown that day.
Well, and Mercury is going to have to be in retrograde for that to happen. So I'm
like
not,
the Phoenix Mercury.
No, like Mercury, the planet. It's all going to have to align and everything.
Okay. Mike Smith, Monty used to do Super Bowl shuffle dance in the front of his mirror back in the day. Oh, for sure. I performed it at a talent show. Yes. Shooter, Texas, there's something special about watching the Bears at Soldier Stadium. No, there's not. When they are winning.
What's Soldier Stadium?
Yeah, I've never heard of Soldier
Stadium, dude. I don't know what that is.
Got to do that once as a kid. Really cool. Sort of like the Oilers at the Astrodome. There was nothing more special than going to a Bears game as a kid. Blackhawks at the Chicago Stadium was amazing.
Yeah.
But Bears games as a kid were amazing for me. So may the show be with you. And also with you. 75 degrees is heat. Around here, we start looking for a jacket in that kind of weather. Well, we also are in a winter climate.
Yeah.
We're in the mountains. So Rudy wasn't missed. Tim Wolves' defense got better during his absence. That's what I believe.
Monty.
I said that. Nuggets look like JV team out there. Sweep incoming. I don't know how they win a game. Oh boy, Big Daddy Magic, who sent me like 37 DMs yesterday about Victor winning the rookie.
Oh
of the
my
year.
God, Monty.
I always love when people DM me, hey, bro, did you see this story?
No,
and
we
it's
just,
like,
we never saw it. No.
And it's like, oh, the Bears won the Super Bowl. Hey, Monty, did you see the Bears won the Super Bowl? No, I missed that shit. Thanks for keeping me up to date.
Wow, dude. Thanks.
Thank you. Wow. Hey, did you see Utah's going to the Big 12, Monty? No, I hadn't heard that. Wow, no kidding.
Monty, did you know?
Did you see the Cap went to the Lakers, Monty? No, I hadn't seen that. Really?
Monty, did you see that the Jazz traded Donovan Mitchell? Did you see that?
Oh, did you see Kobe died in that helicopter crash?
Wow.
Too bad they didn't have a helipad in downtown Salt Lake.
Yeah, got to rezone the cornfields where that, copter crashed.
Hey, playa, I'm going to the Holy War. You pay top dollar to see a class college football bitch slap BYU. Why do you have so much vitriol for BYU?
Yeah, why are you not talking about your boy winning Rookie of the Year?
Never understood that. Mike Smith, Olympic diving might be fun to watch. You let me know, okay? The USA basketball at the Olympics will rival the Dream Team. Should be fun. They're going to have talent. Brandon Butler, porn needs a theme. Look at what branding did for the Jazz. Oh, wait.
No redos.
We've delayed
7 minutes. We'll talk about that. Caps Lock Friday Coug. Curling championship for Canadian women costs $500 for gold medal game. Stop. Nobody's paying that. Pro rata we deserve. If Gobert's kid was in the Olympics, he'd be there too. No judgment, because he'd be retired by then unless he was Le Cap. We're really upset that Rudy Gobert missed a basketball game for the birth of his child.
My bad.
You really think he made a poor choice?
I don't think he made a poor choice missing the game. I think he made a poor choice with how he handled it and how it was messaged.
Look, the date of insemination is the problem, not the fact that.
Don't be an idiot. Why are we planting seed in the garden when that could potentially line up with the playoffs? Why are we doing that?
We all know, Monty, that you have sex in October, so you can have, like a July baby. Is that right, Jake?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it is.
Stepanik, watching the Chiefs in Arrowhead Stadium is awesome. Okay. Mike Smith, yes, full Monty looked at a watermelon dancing with a toothpick sticking out.
Okay.
Dakota Tubbs, Victor's the way. Cam Harrison, shout out to Mo Bamba.
Shout out to Mo Bamba.
You act like I don't know where that drop is.
Andy Blackwell, relax, Big Daddy Tragic. Wow. Aaron Wilson, I want to go to the Holy War this year so bad. Buy good tickets. Oh, God. Big Daddy Magic. Mrs. Sexy Bottom won't let me talk about him throughout all of my Victor stuff. I only have 75 comments a year about him. I got to use them wisely. You better learn to count, bro. You're way over 75.
Yeah, bro. You're at like 400.
Giggity. Insemination planning tips from a virgin is classic.
Okay. I'll give you credit. That's a good one. That's well done, Giggity.
I like it.
Well done.
So, Jake, do you peek at the calendar before you engage with Mrs. Jake? A, there is no Mrs. Jake.
Yeah.
B, he's never engaged with anyone.
But as a professional, you should. You should.
Is that why you don't?
Yeah, that's correct.
No, I'm not a professional.
Yeah, I'm not an NBA player.
You. Okay, listen. Here we are. It's July. If I pounce on the kitty tonight,
The cack.
and if I feed the kitty,
The
and I
cock.
plant the garden here in July,
We show up.
you really think they're like, okay, well,
Yes,
She's-
dude.
let's week she's ovulating over here. Let's see.
You couldn't. So let's wind the clocks back 9
Playing
months.
tournament. No, I'm successfully past the playing tournament. Because all we do is win here.
Yeah.
But man,
What are we doing?
I gotta tell you, if I plant that seed now, that could be middle of May.
Let's ride.
I better not do that.
You couldn't wait a month?
There are things called condoms.
Yeah, I mean, seriously, like, come on.
Who cares? Let him have his sex. I don't care. I don't care. Big Blue Horses. Monty, SLC got hockey. You lucky stiff.
Stay hard.
You don't even have to go to the games and you get to pay. Billionaire needs your subsidy.
It's awesome, isn't it?
Okay. Let's talk about this.
Again.
We show up.
Is the NHL in Utah financially viable? This to me is a big deal. So multiple announcements, news stories have come out the last week or so. Big one yesterday. Ryan Smith bought and we don't know the details yet. Ryan Smith bought a dilapidated shopping mall and intends to, I would think, develop part of that shopping mall into a practice facility and a youth hockey facility, and include the offices of the new NHL in Utah Yetis. And he intends to do that within a year. Okay. I'm actually thrilled with this. By all accounts, directly, there's no taxpayer money involved. The city of Sandy gets to redevelop a dying plot of land. Shopping malls, as we all know, are not long for this world. I'm thrilled with it. Interested to see what the final plan looks like. Interested to see how much of that mall he actually uses and what he does with it. Going to be really important for hockey in the community. I love that. Great move by Ryan Smith. And then, and I know, listen, I criticize the media in Salt Lake City and the state of Utah on a regular basis because I think they're a bunch of pushovers. I think the TV media in this town is absolutely filleting at the tip of Ryan Smith.
Facts.
There's no doubt about that, right? But the newspapers in this town, including the Deseret News, which is owned by the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, and the Salt Lake Tribune, much to his credit, Andy Larson, heavily involved in the reporting on this. I've criticized Andy in the past. I do not criticize him now. Freedom of information request to get the official application, which kicked off the process of screwing taxpayers in the state of Utah, the county of Salt Lake, and the city of Salt Lake. And what do you know? What did Ryan Smith and the Smith Entertainment Group, what did they ask for? Okay, we already know they're getting bond money for the next 8,000 years.
Mm-hmm.
They're getting a lot of tax dollars through bonds. Increased sales tax. Okay, great. I think it's an absolute travesty that we are giving a billionaire $1 billion in taxpayer money. Turns out that's not all he's asking for. Ryan Smith, who currently controls one city block where the Delta Center resides, doesn't want just one city block, doesn't want just 2 city blocks. Ryan Smith wants full control over 3 city blocks. And he wants control of the tax dollars generated from those 3 city blocks. You know what else he wants? He wants to remove all zoning limitations as to height and use. So he can build tall buildings. You know what he wants to do with one of the tall buildings that'll be built? He wants to build a heliport. You know, a little pad where Jetcopter 69 can land on top of a building, because currently you can't do that downtown because there are zoning restrictions. So let me get this right. We're giving a guy that, by all accounts and in the press, is being described as a sports billionaire tycoon. That's what the media, who is filleting Ryan Smith repeatedly, that's what they're calling him, a billionaire sports tycoon. Why are we giving him taxpayer dollars? The guy just bought a fucking shopping center. Why are we giving him taxpayer dollars? He wants control of 3 city blocks. He's getting $1 billion in taxpayer subsidies already to renovate Delta Center, to put the NHL team in downtown Salt Lake. And now he's asking for billions more in the revenue from people spending money in that 3-block area that he wants to be given to him. He's not paying for it. He's not buying it. It's being given to him. So wait, we're going to give you the land, $1 billion to renovate your stadium, and you're going to keep the tax revenue from those 3 blocks of land that we are giving to you. Somebody tell me why. Why are we doing this? Help me understand this. Because in the application, what does Ryan Smith say? Well, the NHL is going to create new jobs and retain jobs. Okay, just asking for a friend. Where's the research to back that up? Well, Monty, the NHL is going to generate new revenue. Okay, where's the research to back that up? Because I've tweeted it multiple times. Studies have forever suggested. Now, in hindsight, we've been able to go back and analyze the impact that NHL arenas and teams have had on the areas that they call home. They do not create new jobs. They do not retain new jobs. They do not bring economic growth and development. They do not. Especially when they are the lone proprietor there. Now, well, Monty, they've got the NBA there. Okay. Still, the NBA is the bigger draw. And the NHL has been shown not to be able to support bond initiatives, not to create economic growth and development, not to create jobs, not to create the ability to, pay off bonds. And here's the best part of this, and maybe the largest irony. Do you see what they're leaving behind in Glendale? The Yetis that everybody finds so themselves enamored with. The NHL in Utah is going to be such a smashing success. They've left tens of millions of dollars of debt in the city of Glendale. They were so non-profitable that the city of Phoenix and Maricopa County would not subsidize them, would not approve tax dollars. The voters would not approve tax dollars. So we're going to move that non-profitable team to Salt Lake City, and we're going to sell it to a guy that's a billionaire sports tycoon who's not spent money to win NBA games, to win soccer games. Anything he's touched in sports has not won at the highest level, not competed at the highest level. And again, I ask you, what has Ryan Smith done? What actions has he put forward that tell us this is going to be amazing? Is he going to win Stanley Cups? What has he done with the Jazz that makes me think he's going to now take that same formula? And if we just do some common sense here, I know, get crazy with common sense and stuff. If we just use common sense here, don't we expect him to manage the soon-to-be Yetis or whatever we're going to call the NHL in Utah? Shouldn't we expect him to manage the NHL franchise the same way he manages the NBA franchise? Why would we expect him to do different? Okay, what has he done with the NBA franchise? Gutted his roster, gutted his payroll, and has not spent money. So is he going to all of a sudden spend money on the NHL? Are we all of it? That's what we should believe. Yeah, I don't think that's what we should believe. And I certainly don't think that that's all of a sudden going to change the way that Ryan Smith spends his money.
Well, I don't know why it would, right? I mean, I don't know why would he change? Why would you deviate? Why would you do anything different than you've been doing? And in the struggle that I have in my perspective is just that, yeah, like you haven't really brought revenue back into the city. I mean, yeah, sure, you've got an NBA team there, but there's a reason. And I always go back to this, and I know it upsets people, but there's a reason they were selling $12 tickets at the end of the season, man. Nobody was interested in the Jazz. Nobody was just clamoring to get into that building to see the Jazz play a game. And it's sad because I actually believe that Delta Center, which when Don was here was Vivint Smart Home Arena, is one of the best home court advantages in the league, provided that the Jazz are good. Because when Utah sports fan shows up, usually they're pretty good, right? Like they're loud, they are engaged, like they're pretty good. But they also are not willing to spend their hard-earned dollars in a place that's getting more expensive to live by the day, it seems, on a team that's just garbage. And I don't know what, like, if you can't win in the NBA, because remember, and I always go back to this too, remember the marketing employee when he bought the Jazz? Hey, I'm a Jazz fan, grew up like in Utah, like I'm a Utah guy just like you, and, snapback tech guy who, startup, American dream, all this feel good stuff. And since then, it just hasn't turned into anything. And so am I excited that there's going to be an NHL team in Utah? Yeah, I mean, it'll be fun to go and see the Hawks. It'll be fun to go and see some hockey games.
Oh, it's not a matter of will people support it early on.
Yeah, it's a matter of if they're going to support it long term and if it's going to get support to the point where
will Ryan support it? Will the owner spend the money that's required to keep fan sentiment high? It's not, listen, fans in Utah are going to support sports in Utah if they win. Was the Huntsman Center full when the running Utes are bad? It was not. Was the Marriott Center full when the BYU basketball team is bad? It was not. Are football stadiums full when the teams are bad? They were not. Was the Delta Center full when the Jazz were Rudy and Don Boyan going to the Western Conference Finals, going to the playoffs? Yes, it was. Was it full during the pandemic? Yes, it was. Fans will support a winning team. Did the Jazz this past season sell tickets for $12 in the lower bowl? Yes, they did. And why is that? Because nobody was buying tickets. And why is that? Because the Jazz were pitifully bad.
Yeah.
So when the Yetis start playing and Ryan Smith, I would guess in the first 2 years, will spend what has to be spent. Hopefully, and I'm hoping he will spend what has to be spent to make this team a contender. There is no way you're going to convince me he is going to spend Stanley Cup style money. I just don't believe that.
Mm-hmm.
We've never seen him do that.
Yeah, well, and I think the best indicator of future behavior is past behavior, and that's why I say, like, and again, this is where I say you can't have it both ways. So again, your behaviors as an owner don't line up with what you're asking for here. Imagine the position that Ryan Smith would be in if the Jazz had simply gone to the NBA Finals. If you had just made an appearance and you had been consistently good the last 3 seasons. If that was the case, we probably wouldn't even be sitting here complaining. At that point, I can say, okay, yeah, I don't love the fact that, taxpayers are going to help renovate this arena. But the reality is Ryan's invested. He spent money. They're good. Like, I get it.
Look on the screen. This is what Ryan Smith is asking for. 99-year lease for the block now home to the Delta Center. No problem. The arena's there. Got to do it. 2 blocks east of the Delta Center from Salt Lake County. So he wants 3 full blocks. Smith Entertainment Group, quote, to keep the money generated by the sales tax increase for 30 years, with the exception of 1% administrative fee paid to the city. I'm totally against that. Potentially requiring tax increment financing, a tool that, quote, allows developers to tap new property tax revenue created in the area. No. The creation of public infrastructure district, such as districts are, quote, able to issue bonds for things like roads. No. Because what does that mean? Bonds. Somebody else is going to pay for it, right? Ryan Smith wants the city to revise zoning ordinances to eliminate maximum height limitations. He wants tall buildings in the project zone and identify arenas, stadiums, heliports. He wants a helicopter pad, parking, commercial, and parking offsite as permitted uses. No. Do you understand? He's a billionaire sports tycoon, as described by the Salt Lake Fillators, the media. the TV and radio folks who will not dare question him.
Mm-hmm.
If he's a billionaire sports tycoon, why are we giving him money?
And I think, the best part about this whole conversation is we have living examples right now in other markets of owners doing it on their own.
Yes.
And having huge success. And this is the part where if I was talking to Ryan Smith, this is what I would bring up to him. I would say, dude, you had a goal here. You identified the Coyotes 5 years ago as a potential opportunity on the horizon that you could make a move on in the coming years. Because if you're Ryan Smith, you're looking at things in a 5-year window here, right? A 5-year perspective. Hey, where I'm like before he owned the Jazz. Hey, Qualtrics has a multi-billion-dollar valuation now. Can I sell a piece of that to bring in liquidity to buy the Jazz from the Millers? Yes, I can. Okay. Well, if I do that, what kind of impact is that going to have? So back then when he was making that decision, the thing I would have said to Ryan Smith is if you're going to do this and you've already identified the situation in Phoenix as something that's attractive to you, why go in and gut the roster? Why go in and cut spending and do it in a way where you brought in Danny and built up expectation in the fan base only to cut the roster? And basically have Danny operating with two hands tied behind his back. Oh, that's right. Because you're not a real billionaire. You're a billionaire on paper. You're not a billionaire from a liquidity standpoint. And the reason I bring this up is because if Ryan Smith was a billionaire in liquidity, like if he had $1 billion or more than that sitting in bank accounts or maybe stock options that he could liquidate easily, he wouldn't be asking for public money, because this is one truth that we know to be true for all time's sake. Anybody who's got that kind of money does not want to deal with the public, does not want to deal with the red tape of the government. They want to go and do what they do. They want to be operating freely. They just want to go out and do what they do. So you're really telling me a guy that's this smart, a guy that grew his company, sold a piece of it to get the liquidity, you're really telling me that this guy wants to be dealing with the government and wants to be asking for this money? No, dude, you're doing something you can't afford. And that's why you're asking for the money. And then you want to gift wrap it and shove it down our throat like it's some positive thing. And again, we're not now the only ones asking. Like, thankfully, hey, like, why is the public paying for this? They're not paying for it in Kansas City. They're not paying for it in Los Angeles. They're
not paying for it in Phoenix.
They're not paying for it in Chicago. They're not paying for it in Phoenix. Yet somehow, some way, we're paying for it in Salt Lake.
Without a vote of the people.
So help me understand, Ryan Smith, when someone not named the Monty program asks you directly at a conference, hey, like why is the public needing to pay for this? You just want to sidestep that question and say, well, it's going to take everyone. And, we show up and Utah sport, like, dude.
We show up is I'm going to make money on ticket revenue. Okay. So when you make that money on ticket revenue, are you going to give it back to the county and the city? You're not. When you sell Yeti jerseys, are you going to give that? You're not. When you sell $55 beers, you're not.
You can't even make a jersey rebrand that people like. And you're supposed to expect me to believe that you can take public funds and build a 3-block district in the next 5 years that somehow is just going to be teeming with life. This is the other thing. So we're literally talking about, if you've never been to downtown Salt Lake, you're talking about reworking probably 30% of the city at least.
And not the dilapidated areas.
Yeah, like the nice areas.
The thing that I'm also worried about is like a Bravenel Hall is a music venue and a beautiful one that I actually now am frequenting. Are we going to lose that? What is he going to do with the convention center, the Salt Palace? That's the stuff that I'm concerned about. Who's got oversight about what he's able to do? And why do we need buildings with helipads? Why do we need that? Oh, and what about Draper? Because don't forget, this is the same guy who wanted to leave the city and go to Draper, where I believe he bought land. So help me understand why everybody is so hell-bent to give this guy billions of dollars. I do like the shopping mall. This is reasonable. He says SCG's plan includes building a state-of-the-art NHL practice and training facility on the 111-acre site at the Shops at Southtown. Smith Entertainment Group will release more details about the construction plans and the layout and configuration at a later date.
So we all know that shopping malls are obviously going the wrong direction. It's well documented. That's not an opinion. That's a fact. I've been to the Southtown Mall multiple times. It's not a horrible mall, but it's also a mall. Like, it's not as busy as it once used to be. And my only question about this is, and I don't even say this in a critical light, I'm just genuinely curious. When you go from a mall to, let's say, an NHL practice facility, how do you ingratiate the public into that facility? Like,
well, and my question is, does the mall go away?
yeah, like, is the mall going away? Are you, because if the mall is going to, like, let's say he takes a chunk of the mall, like one wing of the mall, and redevelops that space for the practice facility and their offices, and they use that space. Does that help the mall or does that hurt the mall? And how does that affect what's happening there now? Because again, it's not like the mall is like popping off, right? Like it's not. So I don't even mind the location. This location is prime. This is right off a major freeway in the 15. There's a bunch of retail around it. Like I'll
PGA
say this,
Superstore's right across the street,
100%.
man.
Like, and I'll say this too. There's a lot of youth hockey stuff that happens at the Mavericks Center here in West Valley City. That's probably more suited for Sandy, Draper, that area versus West Valley. So, like, situationally, this is a good thing. This is
and
a good
it's
fit.
closer to his house. Like, listen,
I get that.
I'm just curious what's going to happen with the land, but we'll see. I am excited about the mall proposition. I think that's very good. We'll just have to see what.
I just can't get around the deceptiveness of this situation. No. I can't get around the idea that Ryan Smith is telling you he's being honest, but in my heart of hearts, I don't believe he is. I don't genuinely believe that Ryan Smith is being honest about this.
About what specifically?
Like about how the tax situation. First of all, why the tax situation is necessary. I would love for someone who has access to Ryan Smith, because this is the other thing, he doesn't give access to himself to almost anybody. So someone who has access to ask him, hey, well, we've seen in other markets, Ryan, LA, Kansas City, even Phoenix, Chicago, certainly in most recent times, the public has voted this down. Why do you need tax money as a billionaire? Right? Because you're a billionaire, you have all this money. Why is it that you need tax money? He'll never answer that question. Ever. Not one time will he ever answer that.
But why is it? Yeah, I could go on. Let's get your comments. Eric and Raleigh. Ryan Smith is executing a coup against the city of Salt Lake. I don't know if I'm ready to get that.
Yeah, that's a little aggressive, bro.
Brandon Butler, this is the start of a negotiation with the city council. Let's see if they bend over and give him this. I think this is very much the start of a negotiation, but it's the audacity of what you're asking for. It is the audacity of, hey, I want 3 city blocks when we have affordable housing crisis. I want taxpayer money and the benefit of keeping the money that's generated through taxes when we have teacher, first responder, addiction issues in our community. When we have kids who are hungry, that's a huge problem for me. That's a huge problem for me. Bobby Fowler, I'm not much informed on this, and you guys are in Utah, and you're right there. I'm just getting my info from you guys. But if this guy is so rich, why is he asking everybody and their dog for money? Which has been our question from the jump on this.
Yeah.
Because he's not invested his billions into winning.
Yeah. And people have criticized us for that and said, oh, you guys are just hating on the Jazz and these are dumb takes and clown questions. And it's like, yeah, it's not going to be a clown question when you're seeing that money coming out of your bank account, when you're seeing that you have to pay for more things.
Hotel taxes.
Like,
food. And this is the other part of this that I continue to ask. There's this new study we're going to talk about in a minute that says Utah is the best place to live.
Mm-hmm.
But is it getting cheaper or more expensive? It's getting more expensive.
Yeah.
And it seems like we in this state have a propensity to give billions to billionaires. Like, we haven't even talked about the Smith that whole Smith group and what they're asking for on top of what Gail Miller and her group is asking for a baseball stadium that we just don't need. Right? So we tend to do things in this town that make no sense. But food's getting more expensive, but you're going to bitch about the food, yet you want to give Ryan Smith all this tax money.
Yeah.
Hotels, tourism is getting more expensive. You want to bitch about that, but yet you want to give Ryan Smith all these tax dollars.
Yeah.
Your parking, your ticket costs, your everything downtown is going to be more expensive. I was just downtown at Ruth's Chris the other night, and it's a ghost town. And you're like, we need more people downtown. We need economic development. What's the object of economic development? What is the reason that you want to gentrify and push out the old dilapidated buildings and people and bring in new, hip, better? Well, because that brings more
money,
tax dollars. But you're not going to realize those tax dollars because Ryan Smith wants to keep it a lion's share of the money in the 3 blocks he's going to own that he's not going to have to pay for, that you're going to give to him so he can keep that tax revenue. So what's the point of it? And again, I just go back to the first thing that I brought up here. The NHL does not make municipalities money.
Yeah.
Has anybody on the state legislature, the county board, the city council, has anybody stopped and asked if there was an economic impact study done? Has anybody asked, well, we already have a water table problem in this town. We're already running short on water. What is the impact on our ecosystem from this project, where we're going to build taller buildings so we can have the billionaire whose helicopter we're paying for landed on top of a building? Has anybody thought about that? Has anybody thought about the fact that, you're building massive buildings so a billionaire can land his helicopter up there? Has anybody thought about that?
Yeah, don't get it.
I don't believe that anybody's thought about that. I truly do not.
And I think the culture in Salt Lake is very much like, oh, there's this new idea. Let's just jump on it. Let's just, we got to go and do that. And it's like, bro, like, there are prices to be paid. I mean, why do you think that the Mountain West region, if you will, LA, Phoenix, Las Vegas, certainly, Denver a bit, are struggling with water? Because we just say yes to everything. We don't say no. And again, I love the NHL. I'm excited to go to games.
This is not a hockey problem.
It's not a hockey problem, dude. It's a economic, like, quality of life thing. And I think you make a great point. Like, it is a ghost town down there. There isn't like some teeming situation happening. And again, I love the concept of, hey, we're going to revitalize this portion of downtown. And they make it seem like that's going to happen in like 18 months, 2 years. Do you understand? That's like a 10-year thing at least.
And already downtown, there, like, the old is being pushed out already. Do you know how many, and you don't, but for all our Utahns, look at all the apartment buildings that are going up downtown. Like, we were driving to Ruth's Chris the other night in awe because, of course, the map program took us through some, asshat village direction. Yeah. And it's just like all of this new development. And then the ballpark's going away because the Salt Lake Bees, the AAA baseball team, are moving out to Daybreak.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to have new construction that is already underway in Daybreak that is absolutely going to wreak havoc out there. And we're going to have now new construction there. And I'm not trying to be an asshole about this, but again, we can't control where our water is flowing underground. Do you guys, you understand that? In northern Utah specifically, we have so much construction, we've disrupted the water table to the point where we're having flooding in areas that are not flood zones. Like the South Jordan River Trail. Part of it's closed. I'm not sure if it's still closed. I'm going to guess it is because we're going through the melt right now.
Yeah.
Where water is flowing into places it's not supposed to be flowing. And why is that? Because we've put so many foundations in the ground and we have disrupted the water table. So now if we want water to flow to the Great Salt Lake, it can't even easily do that because we've disrupted the water table with so much concrete.
Mm-hmm.
And yet we're going to build more high rises downtown that are going to increase our eco footprint so we can land helicopters for billionaires on top of that building.
Seems smart.
It just doesn't make sense. Good morning, Mad Cat. I still love that helmet. Fowler says the dude sounds like an egocentric a-hole. He is an odd duck. Ryan Smith is not easy to like. Ryan Smith is that guy who showed up as this savior and has saved nothing. Nothing. He is not spent on the Jazz. He is not nothing. And everybody's like, well, Monty improved the Gobert contract. That was like his first 15 minutes as the owner.
Yeah.
What choice did he have?
And by the way, is that money still in the books?
What choice did he have? He had no choice. Big Daddy Magic. The Rock is the people's champion. Okay, cool. What are you talking about? Exotic Adrian Street. It's outrageous we aren't even able to vote on this.
Yeah. And
no, not going to a ballot.
Dude, I think that's the single most in-your-face thing about this whole situation. You didn't put it to a public vote, and there's only one reason for that. Because you know what the answer is, yet you're still going to do this.
Yeah. Brandon Butler, the mall isn't going away. They are putting practice sheets that will be available to youth hockey. Right, that's what we were talking about. I'm curious how much of the mall, like what is he planning on doing? Because there's no definitive answer. I've seen everything from they're going to bulldoze the mall, which I have a hard time believing.
Yeah.
To they're going to take sections of the mall and they're going to build a practice facility in multiple sheets.
Well,
which
that's what makes sense to me is like you would take one wing of the mall, you would choose a wing of the mall, and you would take that wing for this development. And you would just marry them up together. So,
yeah,
I mean, we see that all the time with, like businesses. I've seen it like as a kid, like, there was a Chuck E. Cheese built into a mall as a kid. And you would go to Chuck E. Cheese, have a bunch of fun, and then you'd go and walk around the mall.
Mom would leave the kids at Chuck E. Cheese and go shop in the mall.
Yeah. Like that makes sense.
I'm assuming that's what we're going to do. And I'm assuming that, and I know they've already said the team store is going to be there. Their offices are going to be there. I think it's going to be a reason to go there. Your kids are at hockey practice. I'm going to go to Ulta. I'm going to go to Sephora.
Yeah.
I'm going to go get my nails done. That's what I would assume.
So it makes a lot of sense. I like the practice facility thing. I like that. I think that we need, like, when we were in our time with the Grizzlies, like it's very clear that Salt Lake has a need a bit for youth hockey facilities and like more resources in that area. There's no question about that. And I think that this practice facility will accomplish that. Absolutely.
I agree.
I just want it to be a clean cut plan. I want it to look good.
I want it to be in daylight.
Good.
I want it to be in front of everybody and everybody be like, yeah, this is what our community needs. I vote yes.
Yes.
That's what I want.
Yeah.
Hey, if you want to vote yes to build skyscrapers downtown and give him a complete free pass on taxes, that's up to you. I'm not doing that, but that's up to you. At least give people a chance to approve it. No, I don't think there's anybody who's like, oh, we don't want hockey here. I don't think anybody's saying that. I want hockey here. I'm a huge Blackhawk fan. We've talked about this on the show. What I'm telling you is I do not want my tax dollars going to Ryan Smith. I do not want to pay more hotel tax. I do not want to pay more food tax. I do not want to pay more parking tax and have all of it line his pockets for the next 30 to 50 years.
Yeah, it's really disappointing.
I'm not interested in that. Glenn says, sounds like Salt Lake City is being Shohei Ohtani'd by Ryan Smith. Well, the gambler's hitting home runs again for the Dodgers.
Yeah, so at least he's winning.
Exotic Adrian Street. Everybody who approved this should be voted out immediately. Well, they won't come on the show because we've asked them to.
And I'm being genuine here. We've legitimately asked Ryan Smith to come on the show, what,
100
times at least? And that's not a stretch. That's legit.
Nobody in Salt Lake City is held accountable for the things that they do. That's not the culture in this town. The church takes care of the church. Nobody in this town is going to call out Ryan Smith. They don't have the balls to do it. He owns the media here. Nobody on any of the sports stations here will call him out for this. Nobody. And again, that's why I give Andy Larson a lot of credit. He's one of the guys spearheading this information being brought to light at the Tribune.
I love it.
I'm a little surprised that the Deseret News got involved in this. Little surprised by that. Giggity. Hockey moms in Sandy. I think old Teddy Wayman will be moving his hunting grounds a little north.
Teddy.
I miss Teddy. Mike Smith, those LDS ties come in handy. State and local government there is dominated by LDS members. It is. Smith is big in the LDS church. Rich guys stroking rich guys, or is it soaking rich guys?
You got to get stroked.
Don't
honestly, that's our stroking guys.
Don't disagree with you at all. Brady Cook, someone needs to make Ryan accountable. Nobody will. Nobody will. Big Daddy Magic. Hey, player, we don't need baseball in Utah. Yet the Miller family and the Miller companies want money for a baseball stadium.
But see, again, with the baseball stadium, that makes more sense to me with how they're trying to do that than what we're doing with this hockey situation. At least with the baseball stadium, you can make a very strong case. Hey, we're going to get a ton of people that walk to this stadium. We are going to load this thing up with events and community stuff. And like, there's going to be all kinds of stuff we can do for Harriman, South Jordan, Daybreak at this facility. Now, I would agree. This is not a baseball town. This is not a baseball state. No. It is completely unnecessary to be building a new baseball stadium. However, at least I can feel good about the fact that, hey, there's money on this part of the valley. People will go to these games. And to that I say, okay, fine. I acquiesce. But that's the problem with downtown. You're trying to sell me that, you know, with all due respect, a pile of crap for a downtown is all of a sudden going to be turned into some diamond, you know, with this plan. I just don't buy that on its face. I don't.
Bobby Fowler, can people of the city make a petition?
Yeah, but what do petitions do? I mean,
this is done.
Yeah.
It's not a matter of if, it's done.
Yeah.
I don't think there's a way. Brady Cook, but the media won't ask him those questions and make him answer them. They won't. He never will. They never will. I mean, that would be like saying that Utah is the best state in the country to live in.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see this story?
Yeah. So, you know, study done, takes in a bunch of economic factors and, you know, the usual. And Utah ranked number 1 for the second year in a row as the best place to live in the country. And, you know, I have to say, I'm not surprised. I like living here. The view's great. You know, the culture's pretty solid. You can get a house here for, you know, again, now it's getting more expensive. Now there's a lot of $500,000 stuff. There's not a lot of $400,000, $300,000 stuff. But, you know, for most people, like California people can come here and make a nice living.
Live well.
Yeah. You know, and so I'm not surprised by this at all, even a little bit. But what I find so funny is like you look at this list and you know, the mix of East and West is becoming more 50-50 and less like 80-20. Like the idea that New Hampshire's second, crazy to me. I've never been to New Hampshire. I don't know anything about it, but people clearly love it.
It's New Hampshire, please.
Yeah. You know, so like, you know, I when I look for places to live, like all I'm looking for is what is there to do in this state? What separates this state in the day-to-day from other states? Like in California, the beach city culture separates it. So you're willing to pay ridiculous amounts of money to live there because you can't get that kind of culture anywhere else.
I agree.
In Salt Lake, you can't get the mountains we have. Even in Denver, you don't get the same backdrop that you do.
You don't get the same snow.
Lake. Yeah, you don't get the same snow, right? Like
you don't get like again, the reason that Utah was so special, and I think we're losing that because the influx of humanity is because you had space. We had open land. We're losing that, right? Especially in northern Utah.
Yeah.
That's going away. But I think the family vibe, the kids outside playing, families walking their dogs, walking downtown. We have a beautiful development around us where there's a lake and there's ducks and there's kids everywhere. Like it's great. Utah's a really good place to live, man. It is. The air quality sucks a lot of the time, but We have a ton of construction, so the air is always dirty. We go through windshields here like you go through toilet paper there. Like, there are some things not to like, but it's hard not to love living here.
Yeah.
And the only other place that I would consider, you look at good old number 9.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if Ron DeSantis wasn't such a wackadoo,
Yeah.
I can't wait. In November, we're going to Florida for Thanksgiving. Super stoked about that.
Yeah.
Super stoked about that.
Yeah.
But I don't know that I could live in hurricanes. That's the other thing. I'm not a fan of hurricanes.
Yeah.
But snow on Sunday really pissed me off. Right? But we had an earthquake the other day. There was like a 4-point earthquake in northern Utah. We don't generally deal with earthquakes. We don't have hurricanes. We generally do not have tornadoes.
Flooding, for the most part, is non-existent.
We live a pretty good slice of life here. I don't know what it would take to make me leave this state because I love where I live. And I can only think if I could afford, something on the water in Huntington Beach, if I could afford something nicer in Florida, I probably would consider it. Mm-hmm. But I would take Utah over Florida all day long.
Yeah, I think it's tough. Like and that's what pains me about these different conversations we have about the happenings in the state is like, dude, like culturally, downtown in Utah, in Salt Lake, culturally it's different. Like in San Francisco, downtown's a place. In LA, downtown's huge. Like Chicago, right? Like these different major metros, like the city itself is the Mecca, and then you have the suburbs. But in Salt Lake, it's flipped. The suburbs are the Mecca, and the city is kind of an afterthought. That's the difference here. And so when I think about living in this state, like I didn't move to Utah or Salt Lake because I was like, man, I got to live downtown. I moved here because I'm like, yeah, dude, it's 30 minutes to snowboarding. It's, there's golf, like and I say it almost every day when I drive home from work or driving somewhere, like the view you get with the mountains here and the way it's all set up is unmatched. Like, don't know of another place where you get the view that you get here. And so that's why it bothers me when people are like, oh, well, downtown has got to get revitalized and it's got to be this. Like, no, dude, you want that for you.
Yeah.
But me as the everyday person living in Salt Lake, I'd rather see like some affordable single family homes built. I'd rather see, instead of more $500,000-$600,000 houses in Draper or Riverton.
Yep.
How about we get some 350s going in there? Like some starter homes, like give people a chance.
Yep. Giggity, Nebraska at number 3. This list feels like those Garbo best fast food French fry lists.
Okay, we need to talk about this dynamic though. So I feel like it's coming more to the forefront in conversations for people that living in less desirable places, like more boring places, Texas, Nebraska, Kansas, whatever, right? The Midwest for the most part. Hell, Wyoming, the Dakotas, where you can get loads of land for a reasonable price. I feel like that model for people is getting more and more popular because of what's happening in the major metros. So people are moving out there.
And you look at Utah, this list, by the way, is according to U.S. News and World Reports, 9th in crime, number 2 in education, number 3 in economy, number 6 in fiscal stability. You look at, again, Idaho, number 5 on the list, number 2 in economy, 18th in education, 12th in crime. You look at Washington, number 8 in best states overall because the education is 13th, top 10 in healthcare, environment, infrastructure. You look at Florida, number 9, number 1 in education, number 1 in economy, number 13 in crime, 13 in environment, but 45th in opportunity. Massachusetts, number 10 overall, 3rd in education, 2nd in healthcare, 7th in environment, 4th in crime. What's the common denominator here? I can be safe. I can make money. I have access to healthcare, and the environment is good. Right? You look at Utah, the problem in Utah is the environment's 46th.
Yeah.
Because the air quality is such shit here. It's terrible air quality.
Well, and I'm not going to dodge the fact that winter here can be rough. Like, I mean, it can be.
It's tough, dude.
Winter's a grind here, no doubt.
It is tough. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah.
But you look at who else is close, like 11th, South Dakota, 12th, Wyoming, 13th, Virginia. Of note, 16th in economy, 24th in financial stability. Jersey is 14th. 14th, 4th in education, 4th in healthcare, 5th in crime, which is great.
Look at what was that, South Dakota right there, if you scroll back up? Or
North Dakota.
Look at North Dakota's stats. See, this is the contrast I'm talking about.
Number 1 in infrastructure, number 2 in financial or fiscal stability, 38th in economy, 26th in crime, 12th in environment.
Look at the opportunity stat, though. 6.
Number 6 in opportunity.
So what's the message that they're sending here? Hey, in a more rural environment, crime is obviously going to be a bit higher, right? But you're going to have more opportunity. And you should be able to have healthcare there.
Look at Connecticut at 20. Look at North Carolina at 19, 11th economy, 11th fiscal stability, 23rd in crime, 24th in healthcare.
Yeah.
And then Connecticut, number 3 in healthcare, 8th in education, 6th in crime.
So when you start thinking about the fact that, like, if you have a work from home situation, you can go and get away from it a bit. You can go and, like, live in Montana. You can go to the Dakotas, Wyoming. Yeah. Like, now you're going to have to really set yourself up, because the further north you go, obviously you're going to get worse swings in temperature, right? You're going to get, real cold winters, you're going to get some things, but the trade-off of quieter existence, more land, a little bit more traditional to set up. Like, I'm telling you, that's attractive.
Look at New York.
Yeah.
New York is 23rd. 8th in healthcare, 5th in environment, 49th in opportunity, 44th in economy, 23rd in stability, but 12th in education, 24th in crime. And again, this is that political conversation.
Yes.
Oh, New York is terrible. There's crime everywhere. They're 24th in crime, right? But you look at Tennessee, 42nd in crime. That's not good. Maine, number 2 in crime. Right? Look at Texas, 29th best state overall, 41st in crime, but 8th in fiscal stability, 6th in economy.
Yeah.
But what is it one of the worst states at? Opportunity in Texas, 48th in opportunity. Not great.
It's tough.
Right? But I look at Arizona, 32nd best overall, bottom half, easily bottom half. 30th in crime. 44th in education, 42nd in environment, 34th in opportunity, number 10 in economy, right? You look at Hawaii, for instance, number 1 in healthcare, number 1 in natural environment. You want to be healthy? You want low crime? They're number 10 in crime, but not good fiscally. You're not 46th in fiscal stability, 42nd in economy, 47th in infrastructure, 41st in opportunity. You're going to be healthy. You're going to have a great environment. There's going to be low crime, but you're going to struggle financially.
Yeah.
That's not surprising. Okay. But let's start looking at the bottom feeders. Michigan, 38th in crime, 41st in education, 30th in environment, 41st in infrastructure, 32nd in financial stability, right? Not good. You look at, like, I don't know, New Mexico, 49th, Louisiana, 50th. Like, you look at these numbers and you start saying to yourself, man, California, 37th, number 6 in healthcare, 34th in crime. But Monty, all I hear about is how much crime's in California. Apparently not as much as you thought. It's 34th in crime. But what is it almost dead last in? It's number 50 in opportunity. It's 42nd in fiscal stability, right? Like, those are not good numbers.
Yeah.
So you're seeing, as you talked about, smaller states, more rural availability. That's where people want to live because it's cheaper and you can make more money. And with the proliferation of work from home opportunities, you can live anywhere you want now.
Yeah.
I just think it's an interesting scope. For me, it'd be tough for me to leave Utah. And we've talked about it because my wife has had opportunities. We've passed. Because it's tough to replicate the life you have here, especially home ownership. Caps Lock says Mississippi has to be the worst. Mississippi is not the worst. The overall worst is Louisiana. 50th in crime, massive crime there. 47th in education, 49th in environment, 49th in economy, 49th in infrastructure.
Brutal.
New Mexico, 49. Mississippi is 48th. Worst economy, worst healthcare, worst infrastructure. Not good. Not good. Or excuse me, coal country, West Virginia, worst infrastructure.
Yeah.
Worst, 48th healthcare, 48th
It's brutal,
education.
bro.
Right? Alaska. You knew Alaska was going to be lower on the list. 45th overall best state to live in. Tons of crime, bad environment, bad economy, bad infrastructure.
Yeah.
Not things people want. Not things people want. And again, I would point to you the top 10. Utah 1, New Hampshire 2, Nebraska 3, Minnesota 4, Idaho 5, not population centers. So life is better, less crime.
Yeah.
More opportunity. A lot of good health care in the Mountain West. There you go. You could live any one place. Where would you live?
Right now it'd be here.
I think so.
It'd be here. I love living here, man. And I also saw a study that I think it was like 81% of the U.S. population lives east of the Mississippi. It's like 9% live in California and Washington. And then, 11% live in those two states.
Yep.
And then the rest of the population is the Mountain West, which is only like 9% of our, I think we're at like $500 million.
Yeah, if you can get away from population centers, you're going to do better.
Yeah.
You're going to do better. I mean, it just is.
Yeah.
It just is the reality of our situation. But I also think one of the things that we continue to see, and one of the things that scares me a little bit, is our young people are getting in debt, significant debt. Our young people are getting in significant debt, and we've got to find a way to change that.
Yeah.
You cannot carry credit card debt and be financially viable in the long term.
Yeah.
You just can't do it. I know it's crazy, but you can't do it. Big Daddy Magic. Hey, playa, Sarah Palin is hot. Okay. She sees Russia from her back patio. We get it. We get it. Mapes, New Mexico weather is mild and nice, and pizza at Dion's is fire, but that's about it for that state. Not a New Mexico fan. Not a New Mexico fan. Elaine Tran, hello. Expansive in Alaska, it is. But you have a lot of poverty in Alaska, too. A lot of addiction in Alaska. Shooter, Texas, Utah is nice, but I would probably choose South Carolina for retirement and or raising a family. There are a few better places to raise a family than Utah. Whether you're Christian or not, whatever you are, this is a great place to raise a family.
Yeah.
There's just no question about that. Dakota Tubbs, Miss Palin can see me from her backyard. She can. She can, Pooh. Ferris Khan.
Please don't mess it up.
These lists are biased because it's just based on where the big cities are, which are downgrade states for no reason. Well, but I think that you have to look at all of the cities in a state. And these numbers are pulled from economic and crime stats. Like there's a scope of information that goes into it. Take Detroit out of Michigan. I bet it's one of the top 10, but you can't.
But you
take
dude.
Detroit
What do you
out of
mean,
Michigan.
dude?
You can't take Chicago out of Illinois.
Yeah.
You can't take San Francisco out of California.
The stats are the stats.
I mean, it's awfully hard to overlook. You can't take DC out of DC, right? Like you can't do that.
Yeah.
It doesn't work that way. Boston Mapes, I'll retire in the Outer Banks. A lot of people say that. Favorite place on earth. Okay. I like that. I like that a lot. Not as much as I like the Advocates, theadvocates.com. Chat with an injury attorney 24/7, 365. It won't cost you a dime at theadvocates.com. You guys, if you get in an accident, make sure that you are ready because it's sadly in this country, it is a matter of when, not if. Be ready to get to the Advocates. You get hurt at work today. You get hit on your bicycle this weekend. Idiot face hits you with his slice off his driver. Advocates.com. 24/7, 365. It won't cost you a dime. Say goodbye, Jake.
Goodbye, Jake.